I am working with the City of Lincoln and specifically the nonprofit North Fork Area Transit to get a better idea of the environmental effects that their bus system has on the community at large. And this is both in terms of internally, what their buses are doing, and the environmental impact of their buses specifically, but also how much energy and gas is being saved for people using the bus instead of taking a personal vehicle. And so we are doing the calculations for that this semester, and that will compound every year as the bus system grows because it's a very new bus system.
With your project helping us look potentially at alternative fuels, alternative fuel impacts to our system, that's going to help us control costs, keep costs down so we can keep cost of service down, and continue to meet a new demand in ridership for rural public transportation. UNL is doing, and you're doing, is helping us, get the information in place that we need to make intelligent decisions around our fuel sources and our vehicles, but then also go to, we can take that information to some of the elected officials, to the Department of Transportation, to the Federal Transit Authority, and use this information to help support the need for funding or for getting other types of vehicles approved for purchase and use here in Norfolk. It's been, I don't want to say it's convenient, but with fuel prices escalating right now like they are, with some of the inflation that we're seeing in the markets, higher interest rates, I think the fact that public transportation is very, very visible now in Norfolk, and we're seeing ridership grow at record rates, 100% a year. 3 years ago, we were moving 25,000 people around on an annual basis. This most recent year end, we had 70,000 trips. We're expecting to hit 150,000 trips this next fiscal year for the local transit system. And so that's very significant growth. And the other thing that we're doing here is working with surrounding counties. I would say today we have Madison County signed up in a significant way through funding as a funding sponsor. We anticipate having 2 to 3 more of our surrounding counties signed up. We'll be providing transit services primarily for work purposes, getting people to Norfolk for some of our major manufacturers, or moving people from Norfolk or other surrounding communities to other manufacturers that are not located in Norfolk. Those are longer trips, and so the fuel impact will be greater on those, and therefore obviously the cost is going to be greater. We are confident that we would see a demand growth, but nothing like what we are seeing. And so we're pleasantly surprised. It's nice to be able to turn around and show our citizens and our elected officials that there was a demand there. That we weren't wrong. It is there, and if you can properly structure a transit system and provide, there's a variety of transit services we provide. We provide a flex route system, which is basically a fixed route system that can flex off the route. We provide paratransit or demand response transit. That's the same thing that we call in advance. We're doing night services. We're doing more specific services around the city to help move workers or students around the community. We're working with businesses now that, like I mentioned, that are outside of the community that need need staff, and so we're setting up routes to surrounding communities, which has a benefit, even though the initial conversation is about getting workers to surrounding communities. Once we start working with these businesses to get those routes in place, now we have a route to that community, so people from the community can come back into Norfolk and be part of the greater Norfolk area. And I think when you guys were in and meeting with the Norfolk area transit staff and had an opportunity to answer questions there with Jeff and his staff, I think they were able to present a larger conversation about transit and transit needs, and some discussion around the vehicles and the fueling sources for those vehicles, and how that research that you guys are doing is going to support their ability to continue to grow the service and help provide justification to some of our funding partners in terms of why we might at least need more upfront capital for a vehicle purchase, and that's going to, in theory, reduce our long-term operating costs for those vehicles.
I think really one thing that I've learned this summer that I'm taking away is that a lot of work, especially that's done in government, it does take time, it does take patience, just because everybody is running around and doing a million different things, and they're busy, and so sometimes you can't get everything as fast as you would hope to, and you just have to be patient and plan for that ahead of time, just to make sure that you have the buffer that you need.